So I want to share with you. Actually, just before I started the show this morning, I got a press release from the Department of Homeland Security Center for Countering Human Trafficking. It's a report, actually, that highlights that the number of arrests and seizures have gone up. It's pretty significant, actually. About 2,360 arrests involving human trafficking. This would include child trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and just in general human trafficking. And they also seized about $486 million. And then they detailed a lot of the things that they're involved in to really focus on making sure that we're doing everything in our power, working between the federal government and the state level to do whatever we can do to reduce the number of people who are in that situation. I want to remind you, actually, that when we talk about sex trafficking or labor trafficking, human trafficking that involves labor, we're not just talking about bringing people from other lands into America. This could actually be your neighbor. One of the biggest ways that people are forced into sex trafficking is from a family member. And it's really sad. When I'm talking to representatives of the Palmer House, who does incredible work for foster kids in this state, or whether I'm talking to the Attorney General, the Commissioner of Public Safety, local leaders that are engaged in this conversation, there's a lot of energy these days to get coordinated and to bring, to educate people and to make them aware of how difficult a problem this is. And it's one that we just kind of got to stomp out of our society. It's something I talk about a lot on Coast Vue, because the notion of anyone being forced into human trafficking, especially children, it makes me sick at my stomach, and I just try to focus on it every chance I get. But anyway, I got this report, and it shows, excuse me, that through the work of the federal government, working with state and local officials, that there has been some progress made. There's a lot more progress to make going forward, because this is something that we have to deal with every single day as a set of communities, and it's something hopefully they'll continue to stay focused on. So I'm thrilled to see the increase in the numbers, and applaud all of the efforts to focus on that terrible challenge in our culture. Now let's shift gears. I want to invite in Jase Payne, who's been on Coast Vue before. He's currently the Communications and Marketing Manager for the City of Gulfport. And before we go any further, let me just welcome you to Coast Vue. How you doing, Jase?
I'm doing good, Ricky. Thank you for having me today.
It's great to have you back, for sure. So the last time we talked a lot about your life and the influences along the way. We especially talked about your involvement in Coast Young Professionals. Mm-hmm. We'll get into all of that, but I'm just curious, how's the new gig going that you settled in as the Communications and Marketing Manager there in the City of Gulfport? Do you feel like you've found your good fit there?
Yeah, I do. We have a great team. I was a part of the city for 3 years, from 2016 to 2019, before going into the private sector for a little bit, but proud to be back. Love this community, love representing this community every single day.
Yeah, I had Leonard Papagno on recently, and you can just tell he feels good about the team that he has now. I know you probably watched that conversation, but he's been on the show so many different times. I always described him when he was a police chief as a leader with a heart. He was always focused on not just doing the work of the police department. I mean, obviously, actually, he was doing a lot of community outreach stuff before that was being talked about these days as something that the police department's got to do to improve relations. But he's always been focused in that way, and his work in the homeless community and all that. I mean, he's just a doggedly determined leader. He went off to work in the private sector himself for a while, but found his way back to the city as the chief operating officer for the city. It's our administrative officer. So he's got a great relationship with the mayor. And he's got a good team, and you guys, I say this all the time, but there's no rest for the weary in your world. There's plenty of stuff to do, isn't there?
Absolutely. And that was one of the major reasons that I came back to the city. When I left and explored other options, here in the market, I wasn't sure when I'd be back, but Leonard approached me and the mayor approached me, and spoke with them a few times and really just enjoyed and got excited about their vision for the future of Gulfport. So I was thankful for the opportunity to come back.
Well, they're focused. Of course, I have them both on the job on the show all the time, but they're deeply focused on keeping the community safe. I mean, that's a sort of a natural, but maybe not so for the average chief administrative officer, but because of his background, he has a deep understanding of what that means and what it's going to take to do that. They're really focused on economic development. I mean, they know that the key to success of the city is increasing the opportunities for gaining more tax collections in the future. But they don't just talk about it, do they? They're really focused on hitting the ground running, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. We've changed a few things up, and we have different focuses throughout the city. And right now, one of the most exciting things that we're doing is we have brought together all of our nonprofit partners, and we're forming this collaborative effort to really help people not only in Gulfport but all over the coast. The line, as Leonard would like to say, kind of looks like a crossword puzzle sometimes, and how we can get people help. But what we're doing now is bringing everyone together in one room and creating strategies to really streamline that and make sure that citizens all over the city of Gulfport and in Harrison County have an opportunity to find help very quickly. So that's been something that we're moving into a meeting actually tomorrow. And so between that, we have new business development initiatives that we're doing. We have a lot of the great things going on as well. So all of that meshed in together, we have plenty going on for sure.
Well, I think the key to success. We talk about this a lot on this show and on my show, SuperTalk Outdoors. But the more people you can get involved in an effort, not only do you create alignment. I mean, you got to have alignment around the goals. You got to know where you're going, and you have to have alignment about where how to best get there. But you create a create a teamwork approach, and in Leonard's case, and I know how he does these things. He's deeply interested in how other people think about these things. What are some possible solutions? He doesn't have all the answers. He knows he doesn't have all the answers. But the more people involved in the problem solving, the better the solution is going to be. The opportunity to streamline things, to process, kind of map it out and come up with re-engineer some new processes to make it better for taxpayers. I'm sure there's a lot of meetings going on, aren't there?
There are, but we make sure that every meeting, has meaning. A lot of people in today's world, especially through digital, Zoom, Skype, everything, people are getting fatigued with meetings, but the way that we're kind of dissecting them and spreading them out is making sure that we're getting everything accomplished that we need to do. And so it really is starting to, affect the culture of our employees and really striving to get, not only new things done, but make sure that, we're batting cleanup on everything we can do as the city of Gulfport.
For people who may have missed our last conversation, I want to remind people about your family's legacy. The Payne family has an incredible legacy of public service. Kind of connect some dots for us.
So my dad was chief of police in Gulfport from 1989 to 2000. He was then sheriff of Harrison County for 8 years. So my entire life, I have been integrated in this community. One thing that kind of drives me back here is seeing the great things you can do, not only representing the people that you live, work, and play with, but having that better good. Making sure that the community is thriving and making sure that you're helping people. Public service. It's not for everybody per se, but at the same time, if you enjoy helping people, it's a great environment to be in. And so. I grew up under the police department and all the community events. And, my dad and I used to walk, and my brother as well, used to walk downtown Gulfport almost every night. That was kind of his decompress late at night. And so, we're thriving, compared to what I was walking around in the early 2000s and late 90s. So, it's just incredible. All three of us, his kids, have at one point or the other worked for the city of Gulfport. Of course, we have a long family history in public service. I call him Uncle Wayne, but he's actually my cousin. But he just announced his retirement yesterday from the city of D'Iberville, the first police chief over there. 47 years of public service. to Harrison County, just an incredible feat. So, all across the board, our family has been in public service, and it's an honor of mine to keep that going.
Yeah, 47 years in public service, Wayne Payne. I'll have to actually have him on. I remember him well from my days as a paramedic. It goes back a long, long way.
Yeah.
I got to know all of them, actually. And then as publisher of the Sun Herald, obviously watched their careers blossom. And, same thing for Leonard Papania. Remember his ascension and the different jobs he had along the way. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Jase Payne and learn a little bit more about what's his job all about these days at the City of Gulfport. We'll see you after this break. Welcome back to Coast Vue. I have Jase Payne, who's the communications and marketing manager for the City of Gulfport. And when we went to break, we were talking about the great legacy of the Payne family, and what a terrific legacy. I see a picture of your dad on Facebook from time to time on a tractor. So he's enjoying retirement, huh?
Oh yes, yeah. He's saddled up for sure. He's there's always something to do out there, and so we're blessed to have the family farm. My grandfather bought it in 1950, so it's been in our family for a very long time.
That's so cool. I love spending time, and we lease 3 farms up in the Mississippi Delta, and that takes a lot of our time, even when we're not in hunting season. But I just love doing that. I love being out there working the ground and building roads and doing all the things you have to do when you got a lot of land to say grace over.
That's right.
Hey, let's shift gears. Tell me more about what you do in your current role.
Okay, so when I came back, we wanted to start a division of communications and marketing. That was one thing that Leonard and I talked about, and the mayor as well, is that we're the second largest city in the state of Mississippi. For one person to serve in multiple roles for what we want to do and the goals that we want to achieve, we wanted to make sure that we could have help. And so we created the Office of Communications and Marketing. My role, we had the Public Information Officer role previously. Those duties fall under me, but we do have a couple of people in our office now. We just hired Dr. Alicia Haynes, who is our Community Relations Supervisor. And then I'm bringing on a digital content specialist to assist with social media, graphics, our website, and other areas that we want to serve our citizens. So, from internal and external communications to really, reshaping the culture and our brand. The Gulfport brand is so strong, and I've known it so well throughout my whole life, and making sure that we're continuing to bring, top quality service, not only to our citizens, but to our employees as well.
I've said this many times on my show, and I've mentioned it in my conversation with Billy Hughes, but after Hurricane Katrina, when there was so much damage, Andreas Dwani, who's the famed architect and planner, who's the father of new urbanism, building walkable communities and all that, who led the charrettes, imagining what these cities could do. When he came down 25th Avenue and got to the intersection of Highway 90, he looked out over this damaged port. He just said, "This is the crown jewel for coastal Mississippi." You think about coming in to downtown area. What happened there? The largest facade program, I think, in the history of the United States, simultaneous facade program that really gave it such a great feel. And then, of course, that was under Brent Ward, but then George Slogel and all the work he did from an aesthetic point of view, the trees along the boulevard and all of this. It seems that everybody sort of gets that the entry point oftentimes for coastal Mississippi is right down that stretch of Gulfport. You think about the aquarium, the ancillary construction that's happening related to that. Gulfport's got a bright future, doesn't it?
Yes, we do. We do. We have work to do, as does everyone, but at the same time, we have great things going on. Governor Bryant used to say all the time, Jones Park in Gulfport is the front door to the state of Mississippi. And, that's so true. We have such a beautiful area in Jones Park and the marina, but we have great communities all throughout the city, and all have personalities, all have great things moving. So, between what we've been doing, we just wrapped up a record-breaking year for Harbor Lights. We have different initiatives going on throughout the city. We have a lot going on this month. We've got the Crew of Gemini Parade coming up, and after that, we're starting a Roots Rhythm and Arts Festival that's going to be going on the Saturday after the parade. So we're going to have live music, art vendors, all types of community events. And so, after that, we have Cinema by the Shore. We set up a big movie screen in Jones Park. We're going to have food trucks. So all throughout the city, we're really exploring different ventures. This weekend at the Sportsplex, we have Major League Baseball players training our youth. We have Jonathan Holder, Fred Lewis, Matt Walton. They're going to be out there for a free fundamentals camp. So, a lot of great things and a lot of people that just buy in. One of the great things about not only Mayor Hughes and CAO Pena, we're all from Gulfport. It's the people that want to come back and make sure that they're drivers for their community. And that type of buy-in is rare. And it's not just, in these offices, it's all across the board. We have so many people that work for the city of Gulfport that lived here, that went to school here at the Gulfport School District or at St. John, on and on. And we want to make sure to come home and use our professional experience for the better good.
Yeah, I was raised in Bellevue. So my mother still lives in Bellevue, and I have a sister that lives in Bellevue. Gulfport's near and dear to me. In my little block, Farrell Allman and Roy Anderson III, and a large number, Riley Morris, and a large number of people who've made a mark in our community have, we raised in that same neighborhood together. Hey, listen, we don't have time to get into the Coast Young Professionals, but you're the chair-elect, and I look forward to coming back to you as you take the reins in the future, and we can talk about that incredible organization, how important it is to future leadership here in coastal Mississippi. And until then, thank you for joining me, buddy.
I appreciate it, Ricky. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. This has been Jase Payne, the Communication and Marketing Manager for the City of Gulfport. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.